bored in the house, bored in the house, bored. Bored in the house, bored in the house, bored. I'm bored in the motherfucker in the house.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This has been going around some of my mom YouTube groups lately, and it is talking about controversial parenting topics. And I have been so bored today. I literally just threw on makeup. I did a workout today. I laid in the sun. Jace has only been gone a day and I'm just going crazy. I need something to do. So I was like, let's film. I want to preface this video by saying that I respect everybody's decisions when it comes to parenting their kids. There are things that I don't agree with, but I will always support those that are really just trying to do the best for their child. So if you don't agree with some of the things that I'm going to say today, that's totally fine. I hope that we can have an open communication. I welcome you to share your thoughts if they are different than mine, and I'm always open to listening. I don't think I'm ever so hard-headed that I'm stuck in my ways that I refuse to listen to other people. So just know that I respect your opinion and I hope you respect mine. This video is just supposed to be fun. With that being said, let's get right into it. The first topic, and I still can't believe that this is a controversial topic, is breastfeeding versus bottle feeding. There are so many things that go into breastfeeding, specifically feeding your child. It's hard. I had such a hard time breastfeeding. I breastfed for about 8 months, and then for me, that just felt like that was enough of our journey. He spent probably the first month and a half of his life in and out of the doctor's office, seeing lactation consultants, getting his tongue tie clipped. I actually filmed back in the day a video about my breastfeeding journey, so if you want to check that out, I go into depth about kind of what I went through, but it is freaking hard. So, and even in the very beginning, from the day I brought him home from the hospital, I was breastfeeding, pumping, and supplementing with formula. So please, moms, just do what's best for your baby. You know, breastfeeding is cheaper, more convenient, and so if you can do it, that's amazing. But don't put this pressure on yourselves that you have to do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth having this be a stressful time. Feeding your baby is actually such a bonding experience that whether it's bottle or breast, just enjoy the moment and let's stop judging each other for what we choose to do. If you choose to come straight out of the hospital and don't want to breastfeed, not even want to try it, all the power to you. That is totally your decision. The next topic, I watched a lot of these videos and I didn't hear this one actually come up that often, but that is ear piercing in babies and toddlers. I was under the impression that I did have my ears pierced when I was a baby, but that's actually not the case. I texted my mom, and I guess I got my ears pierced when I was about 5, but we did pierce my little sister's ears when she was a baby, and I remember being there, so I think I just like had a flashback of that memory and thought it was me. But I assume this is controversial just because people are probably asking if it's traumatic or unnecessary cosmetic procedure, kind of like circumcision, and that's also another topic that's been on these videos, but I am not going to talk about circumcision just because I have a son and I don't want to put it out on the internet what I chose to do for him. I just don't think he would appreciate that as he gets older. So I'm just going to leave that one at there. But I don't have a problem with people piercing their baby's ears. I mean, that's a decision I would make once I had a baby girl, and a decision I made with my spouse. I don't think it's a big deal. This is another one that I'm like, how is this even controversial? Is having a natural birth versus C-section. So I'm not talking about drugs during birth, which I'm for, by the way, but just having a vaginal birth versus a cesarean. My birth story is up on my channel. It's an old video. Again, I'm gonna link it so you guys can watch it if you want. I had a very traumatic birth, and my son's birth ended in a emergency C-section. I definitely wanted to experience a vaginal birth. I wanted to go through that process of pushing and, you know, getting to hold my baby right away, being able to see everything. But you don't always have a choice. Most of the time, cesareans are necessary. There's not a lot of people that go into birth saying, I want a C-section. It's major surgery. It's super hard to recover from. People that go in saying, I don't want to give birth naturally, I want a cesarean, I'm like, girl, you crazy. But I think you just need to do the best thing to bring your kid into this world safely. This one I find so funny. It's reins for toddlers. So essentially like the leashes or like the backpacks with the leash. And I might come off a little bit judgmental on this one. I'm trying not to be. I have a very easy toddler that doesn't run away from me. He's just very easy to keep track of. That's just his personality. Maybe I'd feel differently if I had a crazy kid that I was trying to manage. But I don't like leashes on kids. I force Jace to hold my hand if it's super busy or crossing a road, obviously, and that's that. It might just be like a look thing for me, like the style, like, I don't know. The fact that leashes are invented for kids is super weird, but if it works for you, it works for you. So next topic is sleep training and co-sleeping. So let's first talk about co-sleeping. I know a lot of people are against this, and when I had Jace, I never really thought about co-sleeping, but naturally it just happened. He did not like to lay in his bassinet. He had a lot of reflux, and so he was constantly spitting up, and that made me more nervous, him being in the bassinet away from me. I was recovering from my cesarean, which meant it was really hard for me to get out of bed and grab him. Most of the time, he honestly slept with me on my chest. I slept kind of elevated, and I mean, the newborn days, you're barely sleeping. I was, however, a little bit nervous when it came to him sleeping next to me in my bed. I had like those same worries that most parents have about rolling on your kid or the mattress being too soft, etc., etc. So I actually have one here. So this actually became my #1 baby product. This is called the DockATot, and it's this little insert. It comes in 2 sizes. This one I actually bought for my best friend that just had a baby, but she lives out of town, so I haven't given it to her yet. I don't know if she watches my videos, but if she does, Ash, congratulations on your baby. That's why I have this one out. Jace's is actually packed away from when he was a baby, but I would put this in the bed, and then Jace could sleep in between me and his dad, and it's got like the padding, so really there's something there. You know you're not gonna roll into it. Honestly, I absolutely love the DockATot. So that allowed us to co-sleep, And we co-slept until he was about 4 or 5 months. And then if you saw my nighttime routine with the toddler, we have been co-sleeping since I became a single mom, and we're trying to get out of that now. So I'm all for co-sleeping, but just know that if you co-sleep into their toddlerhood, it is a lot harder to get them out of your bed. So when Jace was about 5 months, we started to sleep train. We tried a bunch of different techniques. Obviously, we started off with the softer techniques, and it just didn't work for us. So we did do the cry it out method, and it was definitely hard. It hurt my heart. At one point, I had to like sit outside with like the monitor and then like turn the monitor really low so that I didn't have to hear him cry. But it is not as bad as some people think. Well, for my kid specifically, it was not that bad. It was about 3 days, and the first day was definitely the hardest. I think by the second day, he was crying for maybe 10 minutes, and then he would fall asleep. And my kid became the best sleeper. He was sleeping through the night by 6 months old. Once he started sleeping through the night, he cut out his night feeds just all on his own. I would definitely do the cry it out method again. I think it's great if you try off with like the softer methods and it works, but you know, desperate times call for desperate measures. I have no problem with cry it out. So the last one I'm going to talk about today is sharenting slash electronics. So sharenting, I don't know, but when I was like Googling this stuff, that word came up. I have never heard that word in my life. What it means is sharing your child on social media. Obviously, I film for YouTube. I have an Instagram, and my Instagram has my kid all over it. I am fine with putting my kid on social media, but I think you need to take necessary precautions. I think it's also important to make sure that you're not sharing exactly where you live. And I think as you grow a bigger following on social media, if I were to ever be in that position, I would probably post Instagram stories of where I was after I was no longer at that location. I think that's one of the precautions that you can take. So I think when it comes to social media and sharing about your kid, you have to be really careful. You might have to censor your life a little bit more to keep your kids safe. So that is all the topics I have for you today. If you guys liked this video and you want to see a part 2, I could go into more maybe about homeschooling or vaccines. I'm trying to think of any other controversial parenting topics, but I'm sure there's a lot. So if you guys want to see a part 2, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel, and we will see you in the next one. Bye!